All right, hello everybody. Hope you guys are having a nice Tuesday. I'm going to be off the camera here for just a little bit because I have a kind of a unique little experiment to kind of show you guys, and I only have one webcam with me, so kind of had to rig that up to make sure that you could see the experiment. So I don't have it on me here at the I guess the in-home weather center, we'll call it. But tonight we're going to be talking about lightning. And last night we talked about tornadoes, but I think that this is one of the more maybe forgotten thunderstorm hazards. Sometimes we'll get so involved in the severe weather coverage that, we kind of blank and forget. Lightning is an extremely dangerous weather hazard to talk about. And so we're going to give it some attention tonight. We're going to talk about what it's made of, or what causes it, and why it's always followed by thunder. Maybe you've always kind of wondered that. And let's go into the science of it a little bit. Just wanted to give a quick shout out. A lot of these pictures in this presentation, not all of them, but a lot of them, coming to us from Sunny Davidson. So Sunny, thank you for sending me some of those lightning pictures earlier this afternoon. Yeah, some of these pictures are awesome, including this one right here, and wait till you see the one at the end. Stay tuned for the one at the end because that one's pretty cool as well. All right. So what is lightning? Lightning is a discharge of static electricity in the atmosphere, and it can typically occur in three ways. It can occur inside one cloud, from one cloud to another cloud, or, of course, the most common, or not necessarily the most common type, but the most photographed type is cloud to ground lightning. There's actually a lot more intercloud and a lot more cloud to cloud lightning than there actually is cloud to ground lightning. Funny enough, the majority of lightning happens up in the thunderstorm, about 5 times as much. So that's kind of an interesting fact. It can be naturally occurring, or it can be artificially triggered, and we see that out here a lot with the windmills from the solar energy, from a lot of the oil equipment. Those can be definite lightning magnets, quote unquote. And basically, we're going to kind of get into this a little bit further here. We can also see cloud to air lightning, although it's not as common, but you'll see why we see some of those branches in those lightning bolts, like you see this one over here, why those kind of fade away. We'll talk about that too. Some lightning facts for you. A lightning bolt is about 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That is extremely hot. That is much hotter, in fact, than the surface of the sun. Lightning flashes more than 3 million times around the globe each day. There's a lot of lightning going on. And while the flash reaching our eyes travels at the speed of light, which is some insane number, like 670 million miles an hour, the electric current actually only travels at about 270,000. So the actual discharge of positive or of negative charge to the ground actually only travels that fast, 270,000 miles an hour. Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela sees thunderstorms a ridiculous 140 to 160 nights per year, the most anywhere in the world. It's one of my bucket list locations. And while the flash may look really big and really bright, I mean, you look at that one and you think, there's no way that it's only the width of your thumb, but that's exactly how wide it is. Usually the charge flow from the cloud down to the ground is only about 2 to 3 centimeters wide. So it's the return stroke there that you're seeing, the flash, that makes it look so much bigger, but really it's actually pretty small. Some lightning hazards. Lightning is sometimes one of the forgotten hazards of severe weather, like I said. Lightning flashes, 10% of people who are struck by lightning are killed. So fairly high mortality rate there, but of course it is pretty unlikely that you'll ever be struck by lightning. In any given year, your odds are about 1 in 100 or 1,222,000 in the U.S. Of course, that's over the course of the United States. So maybe here in Texas and Oklahoma might actually be a little bit higher than that compared to Montana. Well, Montana sees some thunderstorms. Washington, they don't see a ton of lightning. On average, 27 people are killed in the U.S. each year. And let me know in the comments. I'm going to give you guys a second here. Men are overwhelmingly more likely to be struck by lightning. Can someone give me the answer to this? In fact, I will pull up the numbers here. This is a study done by the National Weather Service based on 396 cases from 2006 to 2018. A whopping 80% of those cases were male. Does anybody have any idea why that might be? Someone want to take a guess? I know there's a little bit of lag, so I'll give you guys just a second here, maybe about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Many men's jobs and hobbies are outdoors. Amber, you are exactly 100% correct. Mario, just my luck. I'll beat those odds. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. But yeah, Amber, you are 100% correct. Many men's jobs are, more men are working outdoors than women. That is true. Also, golf is a huge player in that. There are a lot of men going out and just plainly being stupid trying to golf while thunderstorms are still going on. And so that is a big reason why we see this discrepancy as well. So good job, Amber. Thank you for getting that. That was a good one. So now we got to understand charge, and I thought the best way to do it, maybe if there's any of you kids watching out there, you might get this reference if your mom or dad listens to some good music, but parents, you might get this. We come together because opposites attract, and that is exactly what we see when we're talking about charge in thunderstorms and on the ground. As thunderstorms form, a large charge separation is created both within the cloud, and you can see this region of negative charge at the bottom, region of positive charge at the top, and this area of positive charge down at the ground. So this is why we get so much of that intercloud lightning and that cloud-to-cloud lightning, because there's this charge discrepancy, this charge difference here in the cloud, but we also see that charge difference between the bottom of the cloud and the surface. Now, how does this happen? Well, you have to remember that thunderstorms are very, very tall, sometimes up to 70,000 feet. And there's a lot of upward motion and downward motion in these thunderstorms. And so those updrafts and those downdrafts, they carry water and hailstones up and down inside the cloud multiple times. That's in fact how hail gets so big. It keeps going up and down, cycling, getting water sticking to it and refreezing it. And as developing hail rises, it turns out that when it bumps into other particles, it sheds electrons on those particles, and those often are the descending particles. And so that's why you get negative charge there at the bottom of that cloud layer, because electrons carry negative charge. And as that negative charge builds up on the bottom of the cloud, positive charge will start to collect on the ground because opposites attract. We learned that from Paula Abdul. Thank you, Paula. And eventually the attraction between that positive and that negative charge, or I should say that negative and positive charge on the ground, negative charge at the base of the cloud, it becomes too much for the air to really contain it. And so you really get that, you get those positive, negative, they eventually are able to connect, and we'll see that here on the next couple of slides. I actually got a cool video to show you all as well. Lightning strikes. So the negative charge streaming down from the cloud, so now that the charge has become too great, the difference in charge has become so great that these things need to meet up and the atmosphere can't contain it anymore. So that negative charge streaming down from the cloud here that you see, and I'll play this video one more time, that is what we call a stepped leader. And this stepped leader turns out, for the longest time, we thought that lightning would follow the path of least resistance. Turns out the lightning doesn't really feel that difference in charge as it's going down from the cloud to the ground per se. Instead, it just kind of feels its way through the air, basically, kind of snaking its way through the air. And that's why you see that here, all those branches. And it's trying to find a connection here. And one thing that's kind of new in the field of meteorology is as the current moves down, positive charge begins to kind of search for that negative charge that's coming down from the cloud. So you actually can get what's called a streamer, the stream of positive charges trying to reach up and meet up with that negative charge. And whichever one makes it first, that one is going to be the one that you see the big flash, and boom, there you go. And this all happens in insane speeds. Remember, 270,000 miles per hour. I'm going to play you guys a quick video, put my mic on mute real quick here. This is from Pecos Hank, and he is a storm chaser and scientist. And I'm just going to play you a quick snippet from his video just to kind of give you guys a quick idea here of what these stepped leaders and these streamers look like.
Milliseconds before a typical lightning strike, a stepped leader advances from the cloud to the ground. Before reaching the ground, a charged ionic channel called an upward streamer reaches up to meet the leader. When they connect, massive electrostatic discharge flashes. This particular strike surged through the tree and exploded out the base of the trunk, where it then traveled into a house, frying all sorts of electrical equipment before bursting out the water main on the other side of the house. During some strikes, multiple upward streamers spark up and only one makes a connection. In rare photographs, you can see these lonely upward streamers failing to make a connection. After a strike, the main lightning channel begins to cool and sometimes decay.
All right, so that was a video from Pecos Hank. And it really gives you that idea, and it's kind of some amazing photographs he was able to capture there of some of those stepped leaders and those streamers trying to reach up and make that connection to the stepped leader. And you can really see there that some of them don't make it, but they actually still release enough charge where they actually do light up.
Into glowing fragments.
All right, so let's move over to my living room, and you see I got a balloon there, and my microphone is just long enough, it's a corded mic, that it just makes it, so I got to be careful with it here. All right, hello everybody. So one way to kind of illustrate this, we talk about the hail forming, the creating that separation of charge in the clouds, and a good way to illustrate that is actually with a balloon. So I'm going to mess my hair up here a little bit, and this represents the process of getting that charge separation with those hailstones, shedding those electrons, putting that negative charge there at the base of the cloud. So I'm going to mess up my hair all nice and good. I'm shedding these electrons onto this balloon. There's a whole bunch of negative charge on there. Now imagine that I got some buildings here from the newspaper. These are bits of newspaper, some cutouts of people. And so this is going to illustrate this negative charge trying to find that little upward streamer. And as I bring it closer, oh, it didn't do it. You saw it start to come up there a little bit. Let's try one more time. There it goes. Look at that. That's just static. That's just because of the static electricity. You get that difference in charge. My hair is all messed up. You get that difference of charge. There it goes. Of course, it's just a balloon, so it's not going to behave exactly like a thunderstorm, but you get all that negative charge here on the bottom of the balloon, which in this case would be kind of like the bottom of the cloud. And then you get that positive charge, that upward streamer making that connection. And then once you do that, you get that return stroke, big flash of lightning, and that's what we see in real life. So do this at home with your kids. You can mess up their hair like I just messed my hair up. So anyway, back from my living room to the computer. And talk about so we're going to just briefly talk about thunder. And thunder is the response of the atmosphere to the lightning heating it up, essentially. You have to remember, lightning is so much hotter than the surface of the sun. It's about 3 times hotter, I believe, than the surface of the sun. So it is hot. And that rapid heating causes an increase in air pressure. But when the lightning bolt goes away, that heated air has nowhere to go. So it compresses back in very quickly. Remember, lightning is only happening over the course of a fraction of a second. And it sends that shock wave outward. And sound travels much slower than light, so that's why it takes us longer to hear it. Remember that the flash of lightning, the light from the flash itself, is traveling at the speed of light. But sound travels much slower than light, so that's why for about every 1 mile, that's about 5 seconds. Or so for every 5 seconds, the sound of thunder travels about 1 mile. So that's why you can do the 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. And that's about, once you get that far, that's about how a mile away there for the lightning. If you hear thunder, though, you're close enough to get struck by lightning. And that's why we say when thunder roars, go indoors, because if thunder is close enough, remember, thunder dissipates as it gets further away from the lightning strike. So if you can hear thunder, definitely are close enough to be struck by lightning. That's why we want you to head indoors once you start hearing that thunder. Can I play the sound effect one more time? Nope. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I realized last time there's a lot longer of a lag between when I can see the comments and when you guys type them and when they actually show up. So again, Sonny Davidson, thank you very much for sharing with me these pictures. This one I thought was really cool, a good way to end the slide. So if you got any questions, let me know in the comments. One other thing that I wanted to talk about, and you can drop those questions here while I talk about it. Skywarn Storm Spotter training, remember, it got canceled because of COVID-19. The last one was in La Mesa. That's almost a full month ago. My goodness, where does time go? So they had to cancel it, but they are doing some webinars. They just announced this today, and so it's your opportunity to still learn about all these thunderstorm features and how to spot them and how to measure hail sizes and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's going to be Monday, April 13th at 7 o'clock. Registration information is at newswest9.com. I think we posted an article about it on Facebook and Twitter as well. Just before 7 o'clock, so you can scroll through the NewsWest 9 Facebook feed and come up on that. But again, if anybody has any questions here, I'll hang on here for just a few more seconds if y'all got anything. And just a reminder that Anthony will have your full forecast tonight, coming up at 10. Amber asks, what causes thunder in a snowstorm? So many people are never going to see thunder snow in their life, but because it's pretty rare. The fact that we had it in Big Spring was kind of surprising to me, but if you get a snow squall or a snow shower to be tall enough, snow and hail, they're made of ice, and so they kind of behave in the same way, in that if you get an updraft and a downdraft established in the thunderstorm, the snowflakes are also capable of shedding some of that charge, and if they're able to shed enough of it, that's when you can get thunder snow. And so it's the same kind of process, except with instead of hail, you're talking about it with snow. But it's a lot easier for hail to shed those charges, because hail is it's a spherical sort of object, and turns out that it's a lot easier for it to shed those electrons than an intricate snowflake. This is also why most thunder snow, or a lot of thunder snow anyways, occurs in lake effect snow. that's a pretty good place to go up near the Great Lakes because you get pretty tall storms up there, pretty tall snow squalls up there. And so those are pretty good at producing some thunder snow. So that's probably your best bet if you ever want to see that in real life. But like you saw in Big Spring, you know, it can happen. It's pretty rare. Is this y'all on y'all's webpage so I can watch it from the beginning? And are the other ones on there also? Yes, those ones are on there. You just have to go into our videos. And once this one wraps up, you will be able to go back and watch it from the very beginning. I'm going to try and figure out if I can simultaneously get these onto YouTube. I haven't figured out if there's a way to do that that's either cheap or free. So I will keep you posted on that. I might be able to record these and then upload them to YouTube afterwards. But the bummer with that is that I wouldn't be able to answer any live questions that I'd be getting on YouTube, although most of the questions would come from Facebook anyways. So I'll look into that and see if I can get these on YouTube. So thank you, Shell, for asking that question. I'm not seeing anything else in the comments, so thank you all for tuning in so much. Tomorrow I am open for suggestions, so if y'all got anything that you want to see, please do let me know. Always open to taking suggestions. I think Dylan Smith, meteorologist Dylan Smith, has a cool one planned for later this week as well, so keep you posted on that once we get there. And yeah, Mario, great presentation. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in, Mario, and thank y'all for interacting here in the comments. It's a lot of fun when you guys do that. So other than that, that's all I got for tonight. Signing off. So stay healthy, stay safe, keep washing those hands, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night.